See Danny and Hau'oli getting some All-American
Yeah, I think
recognition.
very well deserved. I mean, those guys are as good as there is in the country, and there's no question that they're very deserving of that. And I think it'd be interesting to see if Hau gets the Lot Impact Award. I know he's down there enjoying some of that and get a chance to take a bow. And it's just awesome for our program and for those guys individually. I just had the opportunity to kind of just sit back and watch those guys a little bit. I mean, they're unbelievable. Just the work ethic that they have and how really the intelligence that they have. I think the best thing that I can say about those guys is, you look at what they've done in the classroom and off the field and how that's paired with what they've done on the field. And I think that's really kind of the standard bearer for what we're trying to do here at the University of Washington in terms of the type of football student athletes that we have here.
Those two guys in particular, just in terms of their production this year, did you think that they could have that kind of season?
Well, Hal was very productive throughout his career here. When he was healthy, he was a sack machine, and so that didn't really surprise me. Probably Danny's production a little bit did. I mean, not very often you're going to have a nose that's going to be, leading your team in tackles for most of the season. I think he's second on the team now. And so, for him to have almost 10 sacks and 14 and a half tackles for, I mean, you don't really expect that kind of production out of a nose. And so that, a little bit of a surprise in terms of how much production he's had. How dominant he is, not so much. I mean, Arizona tried to single block him, which I thought was a big mistake on their part, and I don't think they'll ever do it again if they had the opportunity to do it again. But they're trying to run inside zone at the end of the game, and that guy's just taking guys and throwing them outside, all over the place. And so, he demands a double team, and a lot of times that's not enough. And so, very impressed with what he's been able to do.
Did he call his barrel roll, or did you guys?
Oh, it was funny. It was actually, we'd called it early in the game. At the game, the line game earlier in the game. He'd done that all week in practice. And I said, come on, man. You got to hit the seat roll if it's going to work. And I thought, just kind of joking on the sideline. The game was kind of going our way. And sure enough, he hits the seat roll and gets a sack. So we could have been scripted.
You got a seat roll?
Yeah. So, but that was kind of a fun moment for him. And just seeing the joy that he has in the game. I mean, not just that incident, but, shooting the arrow and all that kind of, just watching him dance. I mean, that's what it's all about.
But with those two guys in particular, but also the whole senior line in general, was there ever a point in time during the season, Jeff, where you're kind of like, maybe I should just kind of let these guys set on sale? Because I know your instinct is to really coach them up. Sometimes maybe the best coaching move is to get out of the way and just let them do their thing.
I totally agree. I think a lot of times, hey man, coaching's overrated. You got good players, you need to take the reins off and let them play. And as long as they have the maturity to be able to do that, understand what the options are that they have available to them. We're facilitators, and that's what I told those guys. I said, hey, I'm going to try to put you in the best position to get this thing done in terms of breaking down protection and give you a couple of options and then let you play. And so, you don't very often get to that moment in your career where you have such an experienced group as a whole that you can kind of just let them go play, and they understand what the options are and what's going to work best, and they're out there between the white lines. We aren't. When you have a young man that understands the game the way those guys do, that's the best scenario that you can have. And so, sometimes you got to get the heck out of their way.
Did you catch yourself at all this year kind of watching and all of a sudden go, wait a second, I got to get back in the game? Just by what they were doing?
Oh, man, I got a million things going on during the game. I got kicking game stuff. I am never watching. Trust me. I feel like I've been in a washing machine at the end of the game. I'll watch on Sunday, but I've been very impressed with having the chance. Every once in a while you do see something, you're like, man, that was pretty impressive.
We've seen flashes from Qualls and Jojo Mathis and Finau. I mean, what's that next wave going to look like?
Yeah.
Are you excited to kind of?
Well, I think it's going to be very different.
Yeah,
I do. I think it's going to be very different. We're not going to be able to probably say we're going to get the type of production that we had for any one individual. I think collectively we've got some depth there, and I think we've got some good young players that have matured, the guys that we've had a chance to play this year, and we've got some guys that have done a nice job preparing themselves through the redshirt process as well. And so it's going to be a different challenge. Instead of getting the heck out of the way, we're going to be very hands-on and have to do a really good job of being very specific about what the expectations are with these kids and putting them in positions to be successful. But I do think the future is bright, and I think a big part of that has really been the kids having a chance to really have some unbelievable mentors. I mean, I throw Drew Schultz, Andrew, Evan, those guys. Danny and Hal get a lot of the run, but those other guys are really, really awesome in our room and have done a great job of mentoring those young players.
Vita Vea is obviously a guy that really flashed, just size-wise and everything else. Him, I mean, Caleb and all those guys. I mean, can you talk at all about what you've seen the first couple days? Because I know you kind of focus on some of those younger guys to get them involved.
Well, I think it's going to be an interesting group. I think JoJo's a high-effort guy who's what I call a splash player. He's going to make a lot of plays. just because of the nature of his effort. I think you're going to have a guy like Will Dissler who's got a really high football intellect and is going to be able to get guys lined up and be a really productive and consistent player. I think you got a guy like Elijah who's gotten a lot of game reps this year and who's matured. Turpin, Tani Tupou. Tani Tupou's had a couple of really good practices. You got guys like that, and then you throw into the mix some of the guys that you're thinking about. Okay, Vita, Greg Gaines, guys, Shane Bowman, guys that have been on the scout team that we don't really work with day in and day out, and those guys start to flash. I mean, Vita's, come on, that guy has more physical talent than Danny does, but he's not where Danny is in terms of the reps that he's had, the understanding the game the way that Danny does, and so that's the challenge for us as coaches is to push him that direction. So he'll be all right.